welcome, fellow Cinephiles, film enthusiasts, and relaxation seekers. My name is Cinephile ASMR, and today we are talking about this experimental new auteur film experience, Skinamarink. So if you can tell, I'm a bit perturbed, a bit taken aback. I don't know how to really begin this video without just talking about it, because in all of my reviews and just videos talking about any sort of film, I always begin by a synopsis, but I have no idea what this movie is about, even though I had just watched it less than an hour ago. And there is a synopsis that IMDb and different websites that have listings of this movie describe this as, but I feel on a couple levels it doesn't allude to anything, and B, the only idea that it gives you already gives off a false impression of what Skinamarink is. Now, if you have heard of Skinamarink, chances are you have come into contact with someone who has seen it, a online video talking about this movie. And if you haven't, the best way that I can describe Skinamarink as someone who hadn't known anything about this except for the craze that the online community, the horror community has felt because of this, is this feels like 100 minutes of that feeling that we all have experienced of being awake at night or waking up in the middle of the night unable to fall back or to sleep, and you're in complete darkness, pitch black, and you either close your eyes and like you squeeze them really hard, or your eyes just are adjusted to the dark in a way that you start to see fuzzy images, things that your brain starts to conjure up and say that it's there, when in reality it isn't. Those sleepless, very drowsy moments is exactly what Skinamarink feels like for 100 minutes. I have no other way to describe that than that's exactly how I felt. And there is a few requirements that this very divisive experience has, because if you go anywhere, whether it be Twitter, IMDb, Letterboxd, you will see that either people hail this as an experience that invoked trauma from early childhood, put an answer to something that they have wanted an answer for in a long time that nothing else has, all the way to people saying that this was pointless and they wasted their time, some of the worst horror filmmaking they have ever come into contact with. And that alone should warrant your curiosity. Go anywhere, not just my review, but every review that I have seen has said something completely different, because I think at its core Skinamarink is something that needs to be felt. And I know that sounds like a walking cliche, but I truthfully don't think that this movie is about anything, but it invokes everything. It took me a little bit to get into this movie, and I feel the perfect articulation of what this movie is and what it can do to you is summarized in my theater experience. I went to about a 10 o'clock showing, and it was relatively full. Mind you, this movie has had no marketing but that of word of mouth on social media. There was about, let's say, 30 people in this auditorium. Wasn't even 20 minutes into the movie where half of the audience had already walked out. So take that as you will. And coming from me, I debated it. I thought to myself, maybe I'm just not in the right frame of mind to watch this, because you could tell me that Skinamarink is 100 minutes of different shots of a ceiling, of a staircase, of a wall, of a door, of a bathroom, and I wouldn't say you're wrong, because it does feel like that sometimes, especially in that first 20 to 30 minutes. But as it progresses, there is this level of disorientation, of almost like a hallucinogenic descent, as this is filmed on a very shoestring low budget of $15,000, shot on a VHS camcorder, very fuzzy visual style to itself. And after a while, after so many shots of just complete black hallway nothingness, I started to then conjure up certain things. I thought to myself, did I see that over there? Did I see that over there? And by the end, maybe it was because I was tired, maybe it was because I had a whole day that I had to go through, and then I saw this movie, but I started to feel a sense of claustrophobic hysteria, and it was almost really difficult to finish those 20 minutes, not out of boredom, not out of anxiety, but out of fear, out of pure, unadulterated fear. And when it ended, it wasn't like I took a big sigh of relief. This thing stuck with me. And honestly, this is coming from someone who really didn't even think that they would like this movie, and judging by the fact that almost half the auditorium left, the online craze that this movie has had, I think this isn't just about, in my opinion, supporting art. This is about going to formulate your own opinion about something. And I'm going to be 100% transparent. I can't even say I like this movie. I can't even say I hated it nor loved it. I experienced it, and that in and of itself is something that I am so glad I spent the money, the time, the effort, the gas, you name it, to go do to get to this point. Because Skinamarink is unlike anything, and I can guarantee this. I can't guarantee that you're gonna like it or hate it or even finish it for that matter, but I can guarantee that you will have never experienced something like Skinamarink offers. So I kind of sit here, right? I label this a review, and it's either a review or a recommendation that I label these videos as, but I can't say that I recommend this movie more as I recommend you coming up with your own opinion and experiencing this. But I can't give this a letter grade because I don't know what I would give it. I could give it an F, I could give it a C, an A, a B, but as a whole, I'm giving this a 100% resounding go see it. If anything, for one sequence regarding a bed, looking underneath it, it disturbed me. And I don't know what I would say at the root of this is why it disturbed me. A lot of this feels like getting that answer to having those childhood fears, waking up in the middle of the night, not even just as an adult, but especially as a child, and feeling disoriented, alone, and wanting to call out for someone, but you can't. Those dreams you have where you're trying to run away from something or someone that is chasing you, but your feet feel like cement and you can't move, so you just have to embrace it. Not embrace it in a good way, but embrace that the inevitable is coming. And this movie unravels in a way where at first you feel very uncomfortable, and it's like this movie almost invites you in. The VHS quality has this warmth to itself. It disarms you, and then it completely drives you down a road and a path that will leave you absolutely shook. But it really does come down to whether or not you are going to give the movie its credit in its time by watching it to its fullest, because I'm not going to say that the final 20 minutes are really any different from the first 20 minutes. Very much VHS style, very much an obscurity to the framing, but I will say that I felt entirely different within those final moments than I did within those first few moments, and it's about surrendering yourself to the experience. Again though, I can totally understand, if you type in the comments, I absolutely hated this movie, I get it, I really do, because Skinamarink is a movie that I really don't think a lot of people, in fact I think the majority of audience goers are going to like. I have loved the horror that has come out in the past year, but Skinamarink isn't anything like that, isn't anything like even like the Blair Witch or Paranormal Activity, those sort of found footage experiences. This is entirely its own beast in itself, but you can only find that out for yourself if you go check it out. I know it's still in a couple of theaters for the weekend, and if it does well enough, it could do a Terrifier 2 route and then be expanded in its theatrical run, but it should be coming to iTunes and Shudder very soon. But you have to watch this in complete darkness, perhaps some sleep deprivation and headphones, because this is an experience for all the senses. But again, let me know what you thought about Skinamarink down below. If you've heard of it, welcome to the club. But if you haven't, and this was your gateway to get into Skinamarink, I'm glad that you found this video. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and, stay tuned for more. I love you all so very much. And remember to take life one frame at a time.